We're back. In my first YouTube video, I gave you a broad overview of my entire life. Everything from my childhood, getting recruited to play D1 sports, getting addicted to drugs, having lots of DUIs, assault charges, judicial consequences, getting stuck in the system for years, having this miserable existence, finally hitting rock bottom, and then pulling myself out of the basement and escalating from a overdose Oxycontin drug addict to the president of 10X Health and living this incredible, wonderful life that I live today. I'm so blessed. Thank you, God. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the stories. We're going to make this one fun and interesting. Before I move on to business concepts, before I move on and make my YouTube a little bit more educational, I'm going to dive in and get deep into the nitty-gritty of some of my past and exactly what happened leading up to me hitting rock bottom, and exactly the mindset and the steps, the actions that I took in order to dig myself out of that deep hole and climb and ascend all the way back up, personally, professionally, financially, spiritually. So, after getting addicted to Oxycontin, I was doing 5 Oxycontin 80s a day and ended up going to rehab. I go to rehab, I get out of rehab after 2 months, and I'm clean. I get introduced to AA, really for the first time. I start to take it seriously. I do that for about 6 months, and then I decide that's enough. I'm going to go back to smoking weed and eating Xanax. At that time, I was just getting back into the University of Vermont, so I'm taking finance classes. I was working at a bank. I later go on to work at an accounting firm. So now I'm finishing up classes. I'm working at an accounting firm. I'm wakeboarding with my buddies. I'm not drinking, but I'm smoking weed and eating Xanax. And like I said in the last video, I tweak my neck wakeboarding and I start smoking Percocet 30s off of the tinfoil. You cut the Bic pen open, you hollow it out, you burn both sides so it's nice and smooth. You put the Percocet 30 on the tinfoil, you light it like this, and you let the smoke you let the Percocet trail down, and you smoke the smoke right off of the thing, and then you get high. And I would leave my accounting job and I would go to the college kid's house. I would buy a Perc 30 and I would sit there and I would smoke it with them, and then I would go back to work. It's crazy to think about that. It's an unbelievable feeling. But I found myself again quickly addicted, and I had to quit that cold turkey. And I just went on this path of having finance jobs, banking, accounting, and then eventually getting into financial advising. And I was always smoking weed and eating Xanax and doing some form of pain, pills. So fast forward a little bit. We end up selling cars for a period of time. And at that point, I was incredibly unhealthy. My lunch every day consisted of a fried chicken finger sandwich with mozzarella sticks, barbecue sauce, and mayonnaise on a foot long. I would have that with Doritos and a cherry Coke every single day. On the way into work, I would have a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle from McDonald's. After lunch, I would have 4, they were called Apple Uglies. They were a cinnamon bun, like crawler, with some shitty dried apples in it. 4! And then I would go out back with the detailers and smoke cigarettes and have a couple cups of coffee every single day. I had a double chin, a big fat belly, and I was just slanging cars, gunslinging whips, Subarus, at a dealership in Vermont. And this is when I started making, over 100K. And I was like, all right, cool. We're going to be good. We're going to be good. I'm good at sales. This is great. But fuck selling cars. This shit sucks. I got to shovel snow and stand outside. I hate this shit. So, all right, what's next? I got a finance background. I could do financial advising and life insurance. Boom. Let's go. And I can be my own boss and create my own schedule. Amazing. So I do this, and the second I start, I got a network of rich friends and rich people. Start managing money. Takes off. Start making money. And at this point, my buddies had moved to Miami, and it was time to just come down here for Art Basel and Ultra and Halloween. And any time that it seemed fitting to come down here, I was down here. Remember, I lived in Vermont, and I would travel down here. And every time I was down here, we would do crazier things and more drugs. And all of my buddies who lived down here, a couple moved from Vermont, but most of them grew up down here. They grew up Sunset Islands, one of the richest areas in all of Miami Beach. And we would go hang out at the house and I would take these little spoonfuls of ketamine, and we would just rip ketamine. I would eat Xanax, DMT, whatever the fuck we felt like. We'd go out to the clubs, I would be at Story, Live, 11, wherever, go out. And it was a wild time. I used to rent these Aston Martins from MPH Club, this rental spot here. It was great. It was such a fun time, just complete degeneracy. I mean, debauchery. I remember One Art Basel, One Oak, Richie Akiva's club, had a pop-up at this club called Rockwell, which no longer exists. 4 nights in a row we went to this. One of our buddies was visiting from LA, and every single night he threw down between 50 and 100K on bottles. And I remember there was, at the table next to us, it was Miguel, Wiz Khalifa, Fabulous, and then next to us on this side was Dan Bilzerian, Nick Smith, and then over here was LeBron, J.R. Smith, and their whole posse. And at that time, this was all new to me, like all the celebrities, all the models, everything. And the guy that we were with would always say to me, hey man, go get as many girls as you can and just bring them back here. And so it was like the most ridiculous time of my life. I would just walk around and be like, hey, anything you want. You want to stand on the table? You want ketamine? You want Molly? You want fucking Dom? Whatever you want. Like, just come to the table. You got it. And they'd be like, are you going to come back with us to the table? And I'd be like, no. Like, just go over there. Just look at all those people. Just go. Anything you want. Go ahead. So I would just, kind of muse around and do that. Man, it was such a crazy time in my life. I would extend each trip. I would come down here and just extend the trip. One of our buddy's parents got divorced and they moved and they left him the house. They took all the furniture out of the house. He's got this massive 8, 9, 10,000 square foot house on Pine Tree Drive, maybe even bigger. And they took all the furniture except for one massive L-shaped couch and this big glass coffee table. The only thing he bought to refurnish the house was little twin mattresses that he put on the floor of each of the bedrooms. This place was disgusting. We called it the mansion. Every time we would come home after the club, we'd have a shitload of people just all sitting on this couch with just piles of drugs. It was a shit show. You could imagine the trouble that we got into at this place. So I'd sleep on one of the mattresses on the floor, and just day after day, I'd wake up and do this, and it was unbelievable. So much fun. And then some of the guys started getting married, so we had bachelor parties here and there. I remember this one bachelor party. We went to Cancun. And, most people are too pussy to pack drugs with them in the airport. Me, I don't give a fuck. I used to take those GNC bottles, the multivitamins, and I would pull the pills apart and I would empty all the shit out. And then I would stuff it with ketamine, with the Molly Rocks, with Coke. I would crush up Xanax and put it in there, and I would put it all back together. And I would always carry like between 5 and 10 grams of Molly and 5 and 10 grams of ketamine, a ton of Xanax and a ton of Coke, all in the GNC multivitamin. No one had a fucking clue that I was doing this. I was so reckless, I would re-roll joints the same size as Marlboro cigarettes, 20 of them, and I'd put them right back into the Marlboro, and I'd vacuum seal that shit and put it in my toiletries. I wouldn't give a fuck. I remember we got into Mexico, and you know what else? I was such a fucking degenerate. I would actually leave my 4.2 ounce cologne bottle in my toiletries, not take it out, and not give a fuck if they searched me with all those drugs in there. Not give a fuck. Why? Because it was exciting. I used to like the excitement. I'm serious. We got something on the leg here. What the fuck is this? See, I'm such a crackhead, I'll be recording to YouTube and fucking getting that thing off. So we landed in Mexico. Toiletries come out, they get searched. I remember the lady looks at me and she said, "Eso es tuya?" Or "Eso es tuyo?" And I said, "Sí, eso es mío." And she said, "Oh, hablas español muy bien." I said, "Oh, gracias. Trabajé con mexicanos cuando tenía 16 años. Era un jardinero. Actualmente era jefe de muchos jardineros." And this woman is laughing, right? That like I'm this gringo speaking, Mexican Spanish. And these 2 Border Patrol officers look in my bag, and I got a football, and one grabs the football and throws it to the other. And I say, "Hey, mira, wey, dame eso." Like, just fucking around with them. They throw me the football, I throw them the football, and she's looking at them like, "Are you serious? Are you guys really throwing the football?" Like, I'm searching his bag. So I catch the football and I put it back. I said, "I'm good." And she's like pissed at them that they've been fucking around. They're her coworkers. She just puts the shit back in, never searches me, and keeps going. Like I said, I had 5 to 10 grams of Molly, 5 to 10 grams of ketamine, Xanax, Coke, weed. Never once did I think, oh God, we're going to have a problem. We're going to get caught. Look, I sold coke when I was 19. I used to ship in 500 Oxycontin 80s every week in a Skittles bag in the mail. I've been pulled over 50 times plus. I was being followed by the feds. I never once thought to myself, oh God, we're going to jail. Oh God, we're fucked. 3 DUIs, 3 assault charges. Never in my life. I just embodied the fact that I was invincible and that everything was going to work out and it would be okay. And as a result of going through these trials and tribulations, of carrying thousands and thousands of dollars worth of drugs and being apprehended and not worrying about it and remaining calm and cool, there is no situation in life that can faze me. So when people ask me, like, how do you socialize? How do you stay calm? How do you talk to women the way that you do? Motherfucker, this shit is a cakewalk. This is like going back to fucking kindergarten. I've been dealing with federal agents and law enforcement and border patrol when I have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of drugs on me. This shit is fucking child's play. And for the rest of my life, every social interaction, every speaking engagement, everything will be child's play because it can never compare to what I went through in the past. And so as a result of being a degenerate, being a drug addict, being a drug dealer, my life is easy now. See, the hard shit, the illegal shit, the crazy shit, that prepares you for life in a way that no one could ever be prepared. Very few people on this earth have gone through what I've gone through and come out the other side and have the perspective that I have today, utilizing what they went through, harnessing their emotions, their mindset, and their skill set for betterment. And so I know I'm in a unique position, and I'm so grateful that I went through this. This shit was wild. This shit was crazy. I mean, we went through some insane times. I went through so many wild times for those years, you know, crazy mansion parties in LA for Halloween and wild travels and Bahamas and just trips that were next level. As you could imagine, I had all the drugs on me all the time that anyone could ever want to do, and I felt untouchable. And my friends were stupid rich. And so I didn't have to deal with the normal shit. You know, we had drivers and travel agents and people that planned shit for us. It was fucking amazing. So I go from living that life to I better move to Miami. So I moved to Miami. I pack up all my shit in my car. I drive down from Vermont. I moved down here. And when I moved down here, a bunch of my friends were traveling. They weren't here. A bunch of my friends who lived here. And I was kind of on my own. And so, you know, I'm here. I'm partying every night. I'm going out late. And instead of being on vacation, I got to go to work the next day. And this shit's getting old. And like I told you guys last time, I hit rock bottom in 3 months. I get drugged. I get robbed. I find myself completely empty. I wasn't hanging around with my friends, really. My family had given up on me. I was $100,000 in credit card debt. I was living in a shitty little apartment. I had wasted all the fucking money that I had made financial advising. And I found myself not starting from rock bottom, but going from an amazing life of privilege to just fucking the dirt. No skills, useless. And so this is where I had to change my whole mind. I could not imagine my life without drugs and alcohol, without my friends who I used to use with, without the job and the situation that I had. I could never imagine that my life would look like this today and that I would have the mindset that drugs and alcohol are fucking pathetic and that it's a weak thing to need to check out and use this. For I don't need that ever. And I never will again in my life. I love my life because of the person I've created as a result of the habits that I embody and the promises I keep to myself. And I don't even think about the things that I once thought about, which were how could I ever live without drugs and alcohol and without these friends? I'm so far beyond it, and I've outgrown so many of the people from my past. I'm light years ahead of where I ever was before. But I had to give up that past life. I reached a point where I said, you know what? In order to live a good life, I'm going to give up my old life. I'm going to stop hanging around with these people. I'm going to stop doing drugs. I'm going to stop going to clubs. I'm going to stop partying. And I'm going to change everything about myself. And once I decided that I would rearrange my mind, my spirit, my body, and everything about myself, my life started to get better. It didn't get better immediately. The first year of sobriety and being here in Miami in a new city and not hanging around with any of my old friends, being all by myself and having to relearn Spanish, like shit, it wasn't easy. You know, I spent a lot of time by myself. 2 years, period of sacrifice. Talking to nobody, going out, never. No dinners, no beach club, no nothing. I just worked on myself. Reading. I started reading books. I started meditating. I started doing breath work. I started getting healthy. I changed my nutrition. I beat my autoimmune disorder. I moved into a better job. I was working with my mentor. I started learning business skills, structure of companies, everything, But this is the thing. I invested in myself and I gave up my old life. I didn't hold on to yeah, but I still have this going on, or yeah, but I still want to see my friends. No. I fucking cut it all out. Everything. And I never looked back, and I never will look back, because my life is so amazing. And I'm growing faster than most people could ever imagine. Not because I'm some special, gifted, talented person, but because I went all motherfucking in on myself. And I do not negotiate. Right? If a girl said to me, hey, you want to go to dinner at 9 p.m.? I'd be like, fuck off. No chance. 7 p.m., that's as late as you get. And if they're like, well, I'd be like, no problem. I got a list of fucking 100 other applicants. Don't worry about it. I'm not going out with you. I don't negotiate. We take the 5 p.m. reservation. We charter boats at sunrise, not sunset. We live a whole different life. And I'm progressing faster than anyone could imagine. Faster than I could have imagined. I had to change my mind and everything about myself through a simple set of habits. That's what changed everything for me. And this is what people miss. Is, one day I'm going to be successful when I get this piece of information, or when my situation gets easier, I'll start, or X, Y, and Z. All the fucking bullshit. Everyone has all the excuses in the world. Keep making excuses, you'll be a fucking lame for the rest of your life. I guarantee it. I see your type of people all the time. For the people like me and for all my friends that are successful, they don't make excuses. Situation hard? Good. Let's fucking start. Kids are pissing you off. Wife's pissing you off. Good. Start. Work's shitty. We're losing money. Good. Start. Invest in yourself. I don't give a fuck if you have money or don't have money. Spend money that you don't have. Leverage yourself. Get credit cards. That's what I did. When I was $100,000 in credit card debt, I spent money on coaches and mentors, which in turn returned money to me on the investment I made. ROI, a concept that I think most of you dumb motherfuckers don't understand. You spend money and then you get a return. When you develop skill sets for yourself, you get a return on that investment, even if you don't have the money. And even better than a business or a product that you buy and resell, you get skill sets that are evergreen, which means they will forever return you money. And so by investing in myself, I created skill sets in sales, marketing, operations, finance, business structure, culture, psychology, every fucking facet of a human being you could ever imagine that lent itself to helping me make 7 figures. And this will never stop because I'm an open-minded, lifelong learner, and I admitted I need help and it was time to grow. And as a result of going all motherfucking in on my personal development, you will continue to see a fucking meteoric rise. I guarantee it. Stay tuned, bitches.